So imagine this. Imagine that you just got to Europe on your dream vacation. You are with the love of your life. Life could not be better. You're taking it all in. Literally, colors look brighter right now. Birds are chirping. Everything feels so good. But you are addicted to the corporate capitalistic cycle. So you mindlessly grab your phone and you, without realizing it, open your email and you see an email about the opportunity that's been pending, a dream opportunity that's been pending. And you know that this email is telling you whether you got it or not. So now you're debating, should I open the email or should I just go about my day? Because if I don't get the opportunity, it's going to ruin my day. But now you know if you don't open the email, then you're going to think about the opportunity all day and you can't be present in freaking Portugal. So what do? You open the email. So yeah, I open the email and I realize I did not get this opportunity. And so I'm literally in this hotel room with AJ and I'm like choking back tears. This was my dream opportunity. And I'll tell you, it had to do with the podcast. It was big. It could have changed the trajectory of what we're doing here. And I have so many ideas for us and so many things I want to do. I want to come see you guys in person. I want to do a tour. I want to have guests on here. Like there's just so many things that I have in mind for you, but baby steps. And I'm really a little impatient rat. So this was like dangling the carrot in front of my face. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is everything I've ever wanted. And I've literally had this on my vision board for years. I thought maybe this time it would work out and it didn't. So I'm in the hotel room and I'm choking back tears because I don't want to ruin vacation the first day that we're there. And I don't want him to see me crying, but like I literally can't help it. Like I don't just like cry over a lot of things, but I already knew. And I warned everybody around me. I said, I'm not going to be okay if this goes south. Like I'm not. I'm just letting you know. So I ran to the bathroom and I turned the water on and I started crying and I was just trying to like get it out because, you know, my new thing is if I have an emotion, I'm going to process it instead of sweeping it under the rug. And I don't want it to come out in another way, like where I'm like snapping at people around me. Like, let me just cry a good 5 to 10 minutes and then I'm going to enjoy my vacation. But yeah, so it's day one of vacation and I'm in the bathroom sobbing and just trying to get it out. And I'm trying to do it quietly because AJ is literally in the hotel room. However, the thing about me is when I cry, my eyes get bloodshot red. So I was trying to splash water on my face and everything, and then I come out looking like I just had an allergy attack or I'm allergic to something. And so I knew I was just gonna have to tell him. So I come out of the bathroom and he looks at me and he's like, and I'm like, I'm okay. And now, of course, he's upset because I'm upset. And he's like, what's going on? And I literally couldn't even choke out the words. I was like, it didn't work out. Like he knew what I was talking about when I said it didn't work out. I showed him the email and, you know, he was pretty upset too because he knew how much that meant to me. And just like a very empathetic person. Like this man knows more about my work ethic and, you know, my goals than anyone ever will. He sees it in real time. He literally lives with me. So he takes it very, very hard when there's a rejection that I take hard because he's the only person that understands. Ooh, don't want to cry. Why is rejection so hard to talk about? Riddle me that. Give me 5. This is why we're doing the fucking episode, okay? This is why we're doing it because it is such a difficult topic. I seriously was debating even doing this because this was not in the queue, guys. I don't like talking about this stuff. And I also have like my voice is in my ear. So it's making it like, this is one of the topics that I have a really hard time with, not just in the professional space, but rejection on any level. It's very difficult for me to kind of come to terms with. So forgive me. She is a water sign, for fuck's sake. I'm a baby. I really am. That's why AJ got me this bracelet. It literally says, okay, this is kind of an inside joke that no one understood, but I have this little Martha Calvo bracelet. I don't know if you can see that. It says baby because that is me, okay? She's a boss in the streets, but a baby at any other time. it's just who I am. I'm a Scorpio. And if you know a Scorpio, you might think that they're just bitchy, but it's actually the hard exterior. It's probably where I subconsciously wore black this episode, just because I'm like, I knew this was going to be one of those topics for me. This is the therapy that I didn't pay for. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about this dream opportunity rejection that happened. Very hard for me to talk about, I'm not even gonna lie. But no, like, this is what the podcast is for. So hi, welcome to the Because I Love You podcast. My name's Bria. Thank you for clicking in today and processing this with me. If I had to say like a reoccurring lesson that I get, it's usually in the rejection space where I feel the most triggered. I've felt very rejected within like friend groups, and I felt rejected within my job. That is what we're going to talk about today. This is another one that's more like a story time, but you know, I've thought this through to some degree, and I hope that this helps some of you if you've gone through some form of rejection on any level. I hope that this might bring you peace. Sometimes it's nice to just know somebody relates with this job. You know, it's easy to see, oh, Bria's doing so many cool things. I'm building a house right now. I think that is one of the biggest accomplishments that I could ever say that I'm doing. And I'm so excited and thankful to be doing that. But the house would not be possible without these moments too. And I think we get very blindsided by people's experiences online that they choose to share, and it can be very deceiving. So when something happens to you or when you experience rejection, it can really make you question your sense of self, because all that you see are people online killing it. And the things that people want to share most of the time are good things. It's the wins. We don't always want to share the hard things. I mean, it's even hard for me to say out loud that this opportunity didn't work out. It's probably the first time I've said it out loud, and it's causing a visceral reaction in my body, to be honest with you. So that's why I want to talk about it. And I'm not saying I have a full solution to everything rejection related. I hope by watching me experience this in real time, you can see how you can make rejection work for you. And although this sucks for me, I'm not even gonna lie, like it's still very fresh. It had only happened like, you know, a week ago or so. I am choosing to not let this interfere with my goals. I'm choosing to not let it stop me. But I would be lying to you if I said I'm already looking at the situation half cup full. It's not there for me yet. I need more time, and that's okay. You don't immediately have to be gung-ho about the rejection is redirection type of thing. If you are, I love that for you, but that is just not me, because any form of rejection pisses me off. I'm not even gonna lie. And that's my ego. It's just like, how do you not see working with me is gonna be great? I'm gonna give you your return, but I also have to understand what's meant for me will find me. And I'm human. I'm trying to cling on to the things that I tell you guys, like rejection is redirection, rejection is protection. But I would be such a fraud if I told you that it happens instantly. It doesn't happen instantly, and it's not happening instantly for me. It's like I said, it's making me question my sense of self. Rejection brings these uncomfortable things to the surface where it's like, am I good enough? Like, why am I not good enough? It makes you question yourself. And I think the whole point of me personally experiencing rejection over and over again is that I need to stand firm in my identity. I know I work hard. I know I'm worth the opportunity. I don't need the validation. I need to validate myself. And I keep having these experiences because I keep not understanding that. I know this on a deeper level, that this is a problem that I have. And it's not until I can firmly stand in rejection and be like, great, that's okay, that I think I will continue to feel this way. So let's talk more about it. So once upon a time, I went on a brand trip, and there was an influencer who made this comment at dinner about another influencer specifically who had like under 100,000 followers on Instagram. And she basically was like saying that person, I don't remember the exact words, but it was like they could never be considered relevant with numbers like that. And you can go look at my Instagram right now. I don't have 100,000 followers. So I was at dinner and I was just like, And then I watched everyone at the table like nod in agreement. Like, yeah, how could anybody with under 100,000 followers be considered relevant? And my stomach literally dropped. It was one of the most uncomfortable things that could have happened to me in person. And I was just like, wow, I felt really stupid in that moment. I was like, how could I think that I am relevant? I guess I tried not to be a numbers girl because it inhibits my creativity. It makes me a bad creator. It makes me obsessive over the wrong things. And that's been one of the hardest things as an influencer, trying to be myself and be loved for that when you have metrics and you have your well-being on the line. Like, it's really fucking contradicting. And so when that comment was made, it really hurt me, even though I'm sure this person did not mean anything by it. And I love them as a person. I really do. I think they made a comment that they didn't know would affect anyone at the table. But yeah, it just stuck with me. So that was kind of like the first time I realized, maybe I am delusional in the wrong ways. Like, I always tell you guys, be delusional in the best way possible, but maybe I'm second guessing myself here. And so this was also the trip where I realized that influencers had crazy amounts of support that I couldn't even really process. There was one influencer that we were talking about who had like a staff of 30. And I'm like, how? This influencer is a Dallas-based creator who has been in Forbes, like crazy shit. But I was like, oh, they have a staff? Well, that makes a lot of sense how that person is doing so well. There have been times where I've compared myself to people, not that specific influencer, but maybe people like that influencer. And it's like learning that bit of information kind of changed my life, because I'm like, I can't even compete with a team of 30. Why would I ever compare myself? And that's the thing about a lot of influencers, is you don't know if they have a staff. They don't advertise that part sometimes. And so this whole time I'm thinking this girl was a one-woman show like me. And I'm like, how does this person pump out this much content and they're posting this and that every single day? And I'm like, I can't keep up. I feel like I'm going crazy. Meanwhile, it was never a level playing field. And that's no shade to like the other influencer. It's just like that was silly on my part to think that I could have ever compared myself to someone like that. So in a way, it kind of brought me peace to know, okay, you're really going up against the sharks here. But it also brought this like new level of frustration into my life, because I was like, well, how do I get there? And I figured, okay, well, if I want to have people that can help me or have a staff or like an assistant or whatever, then I need to get my numbers up, because I need to get my money up. If I get my views up, then I get my money up, and then I can afford to have help, and then I can have more sanity and enjoy my job more, and I won't be so burnt out. Getting the views up requires more of me and more of my effort, and it gets me to a place of almost feeling burnt out. And I can't do that to myself, because I know burnout sets me back maybe months, and then I have to take a break, and I don't want to take a break. So I'm stuck in this little cycle of like, where do I begin to get that point of support that I need so that I can become the creator I aspire to be? I haven't quite cracked the code. So when this opportunity came along, I'll just tell you, the opportunity was to get my podcast signed to a production company. It would have been massive. It would have been huge for me, because I'm telling you, I have all the ideas ready for it. And then I'd finally be able to execute that, because I then could just show up here and I wouldn't have to do the marketing, the distribution. Like, I could be the talent. And so I was really excited, because the first time I talked to them, I pitched to myself. It didn't work out the first time. This was like a year ago. And then they actually came to me this time. So I was like, oh my God, that's a great sign. Like, well, one, they really liked the show. That's awesome. And I was just shocked that they were watching the show, but I got my hopes up because they reached out, and I knew I shouldn't have done that. I know, but it was just so hard, because this is like vision board for me. And I was like, oh my God, it's finally happening. Maybe it's going to work out this time. And it didn't. And ultimately it was because my views aren't where they want it to be. I'll just tell you straight up, they asked for me to get my views to like 30 to 50,000 each episode. And I'm not quite there yet. I'm pretty shy of that right now. So it doesn't make sense on their end to sign someone that doesn't have those numbers. And I don't really know the full reasoning behind it. I haven't dug into it quite yet. I just know that that's what they want, and that's fine. I wish that I had asked that up front so I could avoid the emotional roller coaster that came with it. And so I didn't have to like be waiting on edge for like an answer if we were going to work together or not. I didn't know that those were the numbers they want. And those numbers are feasible. Those numbers are doable. It's just not where I'm at right now. And so on average, each episode needs to hit that number, and then I can revisit the conversation with them. It might not even be them that I sign with, but it's kind of just a pulse where now I know a number to shoot for per se. But of course, in the moment of getting this information, I didn't really take it well because this was like such a huge opportunity and I was just so focused on like it not working out. And then I got angry because I was like, well, why the fuck would the universe play in my face like this? It's like dangling a carrot in front of me, and I felt like I was fine before they even hit me up. Like I was in a good mental space. I was creating truly from the heart. I was having fun, and now I feel like it just kind of pushed me off track a bit. And I'm just being honest. It made me go into this whole like loop of questioning myself, and I was not doing that before. So I'm like, I wish they never reached out. No, I'm glad they reached out, but like, you know, I'm gonna be honest about my emotions up front with rejection here. I'm like, I wish they never reached out. I was like crying in the hotel room, like AJ's holding me, and I'm just like saying, why did this even happen? Like they could have just like never reached out. Just we say things when we're hurt and upset, and I was hurt and upset, and I'm still a little upset, but I'm gonna get through it. Okay. The reason I tell you about like the context of the discussion that we were having around like numbers and having help and support is it makes a difference in this industry. It really does. And I have been praying to find the proper support. So that's why this meant so much to me. That's why it carried so much weight, because I have been going through this period of feeling like, am I moving at the pace I should be? Am I progressing? I've been doing this now for 6 years. And so I feel like it hasn't been a linear progression. It is very up and down, and algorithms aren't always in my favor. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. So my journey has been very up and down. There are creators who just have insane engagement, and macro creators who have like the millions and millions of people who follow them. I don't have millions of anything, so I have really had to like fight for that mid-tier section, and it's very competitive where I'm at, because a lot of brands either want to work with huge creators or they want to work with small creators. So the middle section is very saturated. I would be lying if I said like the competition is fierce when it comes to like that brand attention and stuff. So that's the context just behind like why the support was so important to me. Now that you have the sob story, I want to tell you what I want to do with this rejection, because I can't really sit in rejection for too long. It really makes me feel bad about myself, and it's just not a good feeling. So I typically, with rejections, I do take it and I make it into something that pushes me. Most of the things that I have in life probably were fueled by the fact that someone didn't believe in me. I like straight up. It's probably one of my biggest motivators. It makes me question, perhaps this happened for a reason, because when I got back from Europe, the first thing I did was say, how do I make the no a yes, or how do I find a company that I'm a hell yes for? That's what I want. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to sit in this for too long, but I want to say this. I'm allowed to be upset and process those emotions, and I want to, because in the past, what I've done is I've completely ignored the emotions that came up with rejection. And I know for a fact that it festered into something it didn't need to. It became resentment, it became frustration, it became hatred for certain things and people. And that is not what I want to put out into the universe. So when you feel the emotions of rejection, it's okay to feel them. If it's a job, if it's a relationship, if it's a friendship, if it's something that you're rejecting yourself with, you need to feel that on all levels. feels. So I'm giving myself time to process that. But at the same time, I'm like, let's stand the fuck up, bitch. Let's figure out our next move here. So it's kind of funny because I always believe that things happen for a reason. And I don't believe that this rejection was just an accident. I could look at it in a lot of ways. I could look at it as just a flat out rejection, or I could look at it as like, wow, I'm fucking close. I'm close. They know who I am. They're reaching out to me. They like what I'm doing. We're close. We're so close. But my ego is like, fuck that shit, man. I'm ready right now. And I can't do that, right? I was thinking about it on the plane. I was like, you know what's kind of funny is I say I have all these big plans for the podcast, but I really haven't specified them. I haven't written them down. I don't have numbers I have said out loud. And this is the stuff I tell you guys to do, and I'm slacking over here. And I'm looking at the situation because now that it's happened, now that the rejection happened, I'm sitting here writing down like, okay, this is how many downloads I need to get. I need to do this. I need to change this. It made me restructure things. It made me get a little more intentional about what we're doing here. And I'm not mad that I wasn't doing that before, because to be honest with you, the podcast has been like a more relaxing creative outlet for me where it's not so much about the numbers. It's been a way for me to just be more expressive. So I think that the universe is petty as fuck actually, and is like, bitch, you want all these things, but like you're not actually making moves on them. You're over here having a la-di-da time, and it's like time to get to business. Like, let's get this done. So now I've kind of snapped out of it. I'm like, you know what? We can also have fun, but we can be more intentional. And that's what I want to do moving forward. So what are we going to do with this rejection? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show you rejection in real time. And I'm also going to show you how I make rejection work for me in real time. I've never done anything like this before. I've never outed myself in terms of not getting something, because we usually just share the things we get in the big W's, but you're about to see my big fucking L. Like, here it is. And here's what I'm about to do to try to make it a W. So we're obviously big manifestors over here. And this one, I am going to ask you guys for some help with. There are a lot of opportunities, if I'm being totally honest with you, that I think I would have, and that would make this channel better, this podcast better, just everything with my community better. And my community deserves it. I know I deserve it because I work my ass off. So this is probably the first time in bestie history that we're doing anything like this. But I am requesting that we do a group manifestation for the Because I Love You podcast. Now I want to tell you what that means exactly. So we have the information on why the rejection happened in the first place. I'm not quite at certain numbers. This is a metric issue. It's not about the content. They love the content. They love our community. They just want us to get the numbers up. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. The first step is going to be specifying the goal. So they said 30,000. They want me to hit 30,000 minimum per episode. The range would need to be 30 to 50,000. So I'm going to make my goal 75,000 because I like to shoot over the goal, because then we will land in a good place, and who knows, we might even do better than that. So my goal is to get our episodes to 75,000 views / downloads per episode. That is my goal. I'm putting it out in the universe. I'm saying it out loud. And it honestly feels good just to do that. And this is like a very vulnerable thing because I'm very private with my manifestations, but this is different. It affects the bestie community. So I want to bring you guys in on it. So here's where my plan comes into place, because I'm gonna manifest this in real time with you guys. I'm not saying I hope I manifest this. I am going to manifest it. We are going to manifest it. Okay? We are. When it comes to manifestations, here's the protocol. First step is say it, name it, spell it out, put your order into the universal drive-through. I would like 75,000 listens / downloads per episode. We have 320,000 besties that have clicked subscribe on this channel. We already have those numbers. Now it's just a matter of me asking my community to show up and help us get to this goal of 75,000 views and downloads per episode. So I would like to welcome you to the 75K Club. And what is that exactly? I am requesting 75,000 besties to be a part of this movement with me to help it come to life. 75,000 of you out of 320,000. That's not even like half, right? Right. That's not even half of y'all. So I think we can do it. It's just a matter of spreading the word and getting over the algorithms. But once most of you know about the 75K Club, I believe that we can keep it going. So if you want to be a part of this group manifestation, you are part of the 75K Club. That means you are one of the 75,000 besties who is choosing to be a part of this group manifestation, where what you'll do, all you have to do is every week, click into the content. That would be the easiest way for us to get there. And I know we're going to get there. If you don't know, I'm here every single Monday with a new video/podcast. I don't care where you listen. You can come here. We're also on Spotify. We're also on Apple, Google, Amazon. Like, we're everywhere. You can find us anywhere. Don't worry about that. I think another reason I keep getting this lesson is I have a very hard time asking for help. A huge problem with it. Even when I have had help in the past, I don't lean on people. I don't ask for support. And I be watching all these other YouTube channels where they ask their communities to show up, and it's not that big of a deal. So I don't know why I make it such a big deal. I'm like, oh, I don't want to bother you guys. Well, y'all are already clicking in though. So I'm just going to ask you to make sure you click in every week so that we can reach our goals. And then we can make the bestie community go to the next level together. So thus the 75K Club is being born. And I'm going to shout you guys out every episode. And if you want to be in the 75K Club, could you comment down below that just comment 75K Club so I know that you're in it. I want to see which of you would be willing to back the movement. But this is a movement. And so something that you can do moving forward if you're a part of the 75K Club outside of clicking in is when you're watching a Bestie Bee video, just take a quick pic and post it in your Instagram story. Do hashtag 75K Club. Stuff like that works really well because people are like, what the hell is a 75K Club? And as they click in, they'll know, oh, this is a group of people that's trying to manifest something together. I'll give a little blurb in each episode when I shout you guys out so that hopefully we can continue to grow the 75K Club and get to where we want to be. But I'm going to start asking for help, and I need your help with this. I want to bring you even better. Like, I know that you guys love the content, and believe me, I am so thankful that you show up and that you love this content. And I can't even put into words how happy it makes me to know that it really helps you. That it's changed some of your lives. And I want to get you excited by understanding that I can do so much more if I had the help. We're going to do this together, and I'm really, really excited about it. But this is how I'm going to turn this situation around. I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to let it make me better. I'm going to let this help me and propel me to do something bigger for you guys. So there's that. We're not going to let rejection get us down. No, not today, Satan. And it's going to be fun because you're going to watch it happen for me in real time, and you're going to learn that you can do the exact same thing with whatever happens to you. When it comes to rejection, it is some form of protection or redirection, or maybe it's that you need to get yourself somewhere mentally or emotionally before you can receive the thing, right? But sometimes when we're caught up in our emotions, we don't see it that way. You know, something that I can point out about myself is if I have the support of this production company and I can't even ask my community for support, how am I really going to utilize that support to the maximum value? So I need to start learning how to ask for help now. I need to start learning how to delegate. I need to start learning how to give feedback and just be more of a boss ass bitch and stop being such a people pleaser and thinking that I'm burdening people. You know, we have to understand that everything happens in perfect timing, and my little Scorpio self just wants to be like, it is perfect timing, but it's not, you know, and that's okay. So if it's not now, it'll be soon. And if it's not them, it'll be something better. Regardless, this movement is exciting to me because it gives me a chance to do something with my community for the first time in Bestie history. Like, we making history, baby. So get excited about that. But I really wanted to open up this can of worms because I think that, one, times like this, when I feel like I've hit like a low in a certain area, like normally this is where I recluse and hide away, but I don't want to be like that anymore. I really don't. And I'm working hard on being more open, and especially when it comes to the podcast, I want to be more vocal about experiencing things in real time with you guys. That means when I don't have all the answers, and that means when I don't have the results. I don't have 75,000 views on every single video yet, but that's what we're working towards, and we will do that. And we'll come back to this video and we will all laugh at when I cried over such a little rejection. Thank you guys so much for clicking in today. Let me know if you're in the 75K club down below. Leave a comment. And also, if you have any tips on looking at rejection in a positive way, I'm not gonna lie, I could really use the tips right now, because I know what I need to do, but sometimes you need someone to remind you. And I'm in the remind me phase. Bessie B is not perfect, okay? But I will always be honest with you, and I will try my best to show you guys how to come out of things as I do for myself. So comment down below. We'll be back next week, of course. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. 75K Club, whatever your preference of watching this podcast is, whether that's YouTube, Apple, Spotify, do me a quick favor. Hit the plus sign or the subscribe button or the follow this podcast, like click whatever that is, and you will actually see the newest episode each time it's uploaded when you log into those apps. So make sure you do that so those applications and platforms know that you want to follow my content. Because, you know, the hardest part about this sometimes is being able to jump the algorithm and everything. But if you hit subscribe and the notification bell, and if you hit those plus signs and notification thingies, then you don't have to worry about that. It'll just tell you, it'll put me in front of you. So do that. And I really appreciate it. And I'm just so excited for what's to come for the Bestie community, because trust me, there is big on the way for us. Best believe that. I'll see you guys next week.